It is still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV. You're welcome back, by the way. I promised to bring our first guest in, and she's here in the studio. But before we introduce her, we will be talking about hair. And I'm talking about black hair, talking about black people hair, natural hair. Okay, natural hair has actually gained popularity in the black community in recent years. And for decades, many black women looked to harsh chemicals to strengthen their hair. Like a lot of women would actually personally attest to that. Now, these days, though, an increasing number of black women are omitting the chemicals in favor of a more natural approach to hair care. Now, in the studio, we have ADANNA Enwezor. She's the executive director and founder of Photizo Life Foundation. It is a non-governmental organization, and she joins us in the studio and to help us, and other people like Ibrahim understand, what black hair is actually all about. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Extra.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here.
All right. So first of all, let's start with what your foundation actually does, because you're saying we're seeing here that it's a non-governmental organization. How does that relate to beauty?
Yes. So basically, what inspired the whole startup was to raise health awareness about the toxic chemicals in hair and beauty products.
Okay.
Of course, this was done, after my personal experience with texturizers. Because they'll tell you it's mild, it's for children, so you can use it. But I tried and it was, just as bad. And then, carrying out my research, I found out that the black hair and beauty industry was linked to a lot of illnesses like cancer, fibroids, etc. So that was what really gave birth to the organization. So raising health awareness in the beauty sector, getting people more informed about these toxic chemicals and how it can affect and impact their health negatively, and also promoting healthy alternatives. So we do a lot of workshops, master classes at our summits, festivals, expos, just to train people on how to embrace healthy lifestyle choices.
Okay, yeah. And how has that been so far?
It's been a journey. It's been a journey. There's no journey without challenges,
Definitely.
But it's very fulfilling to see that we can actually see the impact we've been creating for the past 6 years, and just to know that we have a lot more work to do, and a lot more organizations are beginning to embrace the idea of what we do. Initially, it was just like, oh, it's a women thing, anything hair, beauty, oh, it's a women thing. No, it's not a women thing. It's a lifestyle thing, and it also affects men as well, because there are some men who use products, beauty products on the market. I've been to places where they'll ask you, what can I use to grow my beard? What can I do? I'm going bald, what can I do? So we have a lot of men who are also very interested in this. And interestingly, a lot of people think it's just a women's sector. No. Most of the cosmetic companies are owned by men. And, there's a big business opportunity right there. It's a billion-dollar industry. I mean, this is something you see everywhere online. You can see how big this movement is in advanced countries. And to think that in Africa, we don't have anything, we shouldn't have any limitations, especially in the case of race. For instance, there's nothing really stopping us from embracing our identity fully as Africans. I mean, all the way down to our hair texture, our skin color, and all of that. We don't have any limitations in that regard. And I think that, even if for nothing, for our health, I think we need to begin to look more into that.
When I heard we were talking about hair today, I went like, yes, now finally I can get something for my gray beard. I can
Well.
I read somewhere about some sort of like a hair summit. What's that about?
So the African Hair Summit is our flagship project, and we've been doing this since 2016. It was basically what gave birth to the movement here in Africa, with more people learning about these issues. I mean, before we had like small natural hair salons doing meetups and all that, but with the African Hair Summit, it became a more global conversation. And we've had at the summit, we have panel discussions, we have all the way down to business. So for those who are interested in starting up a business in the sector, we also bring in, for instance, NAFDAC, SON, these organizations that also play a very key role in the success of some of these, businesses. CAC, etc. We've worked with NEPC, NIPC. We're also driving investment in this sector. It's a very big, it has a lot of potential, and I believe that it has what it takes to alleviate poverty and unemployment within the society if the government can really look, more into this, and it also sort of helps to decentralize, the conversations around the economy, and creates other means of livelihoods and business, opportunities and all of that. So yes, the summit is where we have those very serious conversations. Last year in 2021, we actually did a virtual conference, because of course we had the COVID and all of that, and it was a very huge turnout. It was very, we on the screen at every time we had 400 to 500 participants, and they came in from different countries. Overall, it was almost 2,000, people who attended that. So you can imagine that people are really interested in these conversations. Everybody's hair is important to them. Everybody is particular about their look. I don't care what any man says, they look in the mirror before they step out, and when they go out, they want to create an impression. So definitely, all those things bother. It's just at different degrees. So yes, the summit is there to open up those opportunities. Also, it's a very good platform for us to raise health awareness, because there we work with the Ministry of Health and other health organizations. We bring in experts, trichologists, dermatologists, people who specialize in skincare, hair care, to actually begin to explain in details some of the ingredients we need to look out for in certain products to avoid, that are very toxic and harmful. And I think more of the problem, again, is that people tend to use some of these very toxic products on their children, because they don't find time anymore. Everybody's trying to hustle, make money, so what you find is just people looking for quick, solutions to their problems, even if it has, health consequences on the long run. So we really, use our platforms to appeal to parents, to bring in their children to our summits. We work with schools at every summit. We work with primary schools, secondary schools, because we want to begin to educate them from a very young age. Let them know that natural hair is not as, difficult as people say it is. Once you learn something, it's just like when you want to start driving. Initially, it may look like a hard task, but once you're used to it, it's easy. You don't think about it, you just think about your destination. So the same thing with your natural hair journey. All you need to do is learn the basics. How do I manage this hair? How do I moisturize it? Because once it's moisturized, it's less tangled, it's easy to comb, it's more manageable. So you find that, for instance, people just comb their hair dry, and that is a crime in the natural hair world. You don't just comb your hair dry. No, a lot of people don't have this information. As easy and as simple as it is, just sprinkling water on your hair can bring all the change you need in your lifestyle. Water is a very good hair product. It's very, very funny, but people don't even understand how easy it is to just put water on your hair, and it helps, to soften, to moisturize, and helps you to manage it even, before making it. So even if you can't, do the water, you can get a leave-in conditioner that is good for natural hair. Have that in your hair every time. Have your hair moisturized, and it makes it more manageable. So instead of going about with dry hair, once your children come back, you loosen their hair and start combing it. These are just some little information. And if you follow us on Instagram, African Hair Summit, you get to see tutorials. We post natural hair tips. There's just a lot of information out there that you can use to on your hair journey. So yes, we're
all right. So I'm actually very interested. You talked about.
You will be interested.
You talked about our hairs connected to our health.
absolutely.
How?
So anything you put on your skin goes, to your bloodstream.
Okay,
I think this is, if they tell you normally, if you can't, what you put on your skin should be something that you can even taste, you can even put in your mouth, because it's affecting your health either way. So if it's something you can't think of consuming, you shouldn't put it on your skin, on your hair, because your hair is also your scalp, it's a part of your skin. And whatever you're putting there, imagine how we use all these very toxic products and we have burns. Have you seen people with extreme burns?
Yeah.
You know, we go into
Relaxer
local,
burns.
yes, and it's, you know, we don't talk about it because it's become a lifestyle for a lot of people. You know, you get burned today, you give yourself 2 weeks, and you feel like in the next 2 weeks, I should be okay to go get another one.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we're in some sort of prison. And if you don't break free, you know, you may begin to have to deal with some sort of health issue on the long run. Some people are suffering from alopecia. This is extreme hair loss, you know, and it's affecting the self-esteem of a lot of people. So you see women who constantly wear wigs, constantly,
Wow.
exactly, you know, they have like their scarves on, and they just don't have the confidence that they should because their hair is gone.
Okay, now you said something about, you know, women knowing what, let me not just women, people knowing what they actually put on their hair, you know, like the ingredients they use, you know, stay away from the toxic ones. But most companies don't actually, you know, include every ingredient, you know, used in that particular product. So how do they know for sure that what they're using isn't toxic?
So this is why, again, you know, we have these events that we organize. Like I said, it's a avenue for health awareness. We have very intense panel conversations around these issues, around the ingredients in some of these products. And we also have vendor exhibitions at our events where we showcase healthy products that have been tested, tried, and that we usually encourage people come in and you get discounted products and all of that, you know, just to encourage people embrace this lifestyle and begin to be more deliberate, you know, about what they're putting on their hair and their skin. So yes, we use our platforms to, because honestly, these things are very scientific.
Yes,
It's not something that you just know from watching, you know, Africa Magic. You have to be intentional about, you know, setting, just like when COVID came, everybody starts being conscious. Or what can I use? What's the vegetable to blend and drink?
Yeah.
What is the you know, the ingredient to do this and to be healthy? You have to be deliberate about certain things. Yeah.
Well, just to touch on what Stasha brought up, yes, one of the one word that is quite popular these days right now is organic. Yes, I can just go somewhere, gather all the poison that I want to, of course, well, gather all the poison that I want to gather, and then
Yeah.
I'll plaster 100% organic on it and start selling to people. So you talked about testing and finding out whether these actually contain. So what's your relationship with like NAFDAC and Standards Organization of Nigeria? Do you actually have a relationship
We
with
do
them?
have a relationship with especially SON.
Okay.
They've been at our events. NAFDAC has also been at our summit in 2019. We try to carry them along as much as possible because these business owners need to be educated. We're talking about standards, we're talking about building your brand, building your products to a point where you are export ready. So it's not necessarily about just making quick money. We're talking about sustainability. It's not sustainable to just do something because people will find out. They'll find out. And the word, thank God for the internet, people will go, somebody will go and post a review. I got this product and they said organic, but this is what it did to me. And that's probably the end of your brand. You know, so isn't it more beneficial to be on the right side of business than on the bad side? So we usually encourage all this, you know, the business owners and people who are, you know, starting up especially because they will complain about the economy. You know, we just let them know you don't have to compromise, you know, at any point. You know, it's always good to put out the best quality products and all of that because you're also impacting on people's health. We're trying to create healthy alternatives, so there's no way we're going to encourage people who haven't been tested to come and showcase on our, you know, at our events.
Okay, now when someone wants to actually keep a natural hair, would you advise the person to transition from a relaxed hair or start afresh?
Well, I did the big chop, but I usually would encourage, some people don't have that mind. Some people, you know, I did the big chop because once I found out, oh my God, these products are linked to cancer, fibroids, you know, I think it was just my reaction to just get the scissors and just cut my hair off because, so my experience was different. And that was why I started this whole movement in the first place. So some other person may not be as, you know, as bold as I was. So I usually encourage you can transition as well. It's also a very easy way to embrace your natural hair. Just let it grow out and trim the edge
I
and the
actually
tips.
asked before because there was a time I actually transitioned and it didn't work out for me because
What didn't work out?
it wasn't working out. Like it still felt like there was still relaxer in my hair even after 2 years. So I had to do the big chop, and it still felt that way while it was growing up. And then I just realized that I probably just had a really soft hair.
Exactly. It's so funny that a lot of people don't even know their
I'm
hair type
telling
because we're
you.
so used to putting relaxers and all of that. So I think, yes, like you said, you were just now finding out your hair texture and understanding that, okay, maybe my hair texture is not a 4C, maybe it's a 3B or a 4A or
It's
something.
actually 4C, but it's really soft.
Okay, then
You
it's
see,
not a
that's why I
4C.
said I was going to
It's
take a
not?
back seat
Wait,
when it
hold
comes
on.
to this
If it's not
conversation.
4C, what type is it?
So I'll need to see it afterwards.
Please, you will.
Yes.
You
That's
will.
why I said I was
So
going to take a back
yes.
seat when you're
Okay,
talking
so
about
now
4C
just-
and
just
3D
to
and
include-
9A.
Just,
and
just to include Ibrahim, tell us about the types of hair.
Exactly, so that we
that
can
we have,
actually
yes.
understand. Because
I mean, we usually have, like, in Nigeria here, we mostly have the 4C texture. We have a few people who have, maybe 4B, 4A, or even the 3s. Just a few. But it's mostly the 4C texture we
so
have.
how
Yeah.
does a person know what kind of hair he has?
Well, that's why we have, natural hair salons and, people that specialize in natural hair care.
Oh, so somebody
So-
needs to tell you.
Yes.
Not every time.
Not all the time.
Okay.
Once, if you have to know and you don't know, you need to be where someone can actually tell you. And it's just a one-off conversation. It's not like something you have to keep going back every time. So if you're so bothered by it, yes. And if you go to a natural hair salon, they will need to know your hair texture to be able to recommend the right products. Because what works for me, for instance, won't work for her. I will need a different kind of,
Exactly. So, I've always thought I had type C hair, 4C hair, but you're saying it's not 4C now.
I don't
Because
think it's 4C from what you said.
I'm trying to be personal now, so,
Yes.
Ibrahim actually understands what I'm talking about. Do you get? Now, it's soft, right? But then it shrinks a lot, and it's soft and stubborn at the same time.
It's
How
like
is
you're
that
having
possible?
a very, it's like
It's
you're
confused.
Yeah. So I feel like you're actually just getting into a relationship with your hair. Like you're really just trying to understand it. And it's good that you understand it because if it's soft and maybe when there's something called hair porosity.
Okay.
You need to know what type of, porosity your hair has to know what kind of products to use because depending on your hair porosity, your hair may not be able to retain certain products or it may just lose moisture easily, or it may retain a lot. So you need to know exactly what type of hair product. But these are conversations you need to have in a natural hair salon where, an expert can actually look at your hair, have some tests carried out and let you know, okay, this is the kind of hair you have. These are the kind of products you need to use. These are the kind of products you need to avoid. Because some people go natural and then they go into the market. It's like the excitement. Once you go on YouTube, you see a lot of tutorials. It's like, oh my God, I just need to go shopping for my natural hair. And you go and buy all sorts of products and they don't work. And you get discouraged and you go back to relaxers. I've seen this too many times. Oh, it didn't work. I tried. I've been there. I've done that. Please let me have my piece. So that is also part of the issue. People don't know their hair type. They just feel like, oh, because this beautiful lady is using this product, then it should work for me. No. The lady has done her own, job to find out what works for her, and it's left for you to do it. It's a personal journey. Yeah, so it's always good to know what works for you and stick to that.
Okay, now before I even ask the next question, I just want to thank you. Your talk about texturizer actually helped me because I was about to go and look for one and use on my hair. But then, aside that, does what we eat affect our hair?
Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't even... We encourage people to do more vegetables, do more green foods, do more healthy food. Of course, if you're taking a lot of soda, if you're taking a lot of even caffeine, it can affect a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, caffeine affects the skin, so I can imagine what it will do to the hair as well. I mean, you just need to be deliberate about what you're eating. And obviously, if you're doing a lot of alcohol, there's certain things that you would need to cut down on, to experience and do a lot of water. take a lot of water. Some people are used to, for instance, eating with soft drinks every time. Once you're bringing their food, oh, get me Coke, get me Fanta, get me Sprite, get me, this. It's great, but you need to, do that in moderation as well. Take more water. It's very healthy. You see what water does to the gardens, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine what it's going to do to your hair as well, and even your skin, your overall health. So yes.
So all this talk about natural hair has got me feeling that this is a lot of work. So what's going
It
to stop
actually
somebody?
is,
So what's
isn't
going to
it?
stop somebody from just, let me just shave it off and just slap on a wig and go out?
Well, I think you're speaking from a man's perspective. That's why you've shaved it all off, So, no, but seriously.
Well, you actually have more men keeping their hair.
Their
these
hair
days.
natural. Yeah, there's some men who grow long hair. There's some men who don't bother, don't care too much about it. They just want his skin every time. They have the hair, but they don't want it. So I can understand where you're coming from because there are people like you. Trust me, I've met all sorts of people. So, but it's a personal choice. What you want is different from. I have a friend who's asking. Who's just there measuring his hair every day. It's not growing. It's not growing. I want to put, I want to lock it. I want to put. That's a guy. Some other guy doesn't want that. He just wants, So it's all personal. I think, what works for you may not work for the other person. It's just all about embracing your journey, but most importantly, embracing your African hair texture, skin, loving yourself, and all of that.
Yes, we still have our guest in the studio, ADANNA Enwezor, and we're still talking hair. And there's something because I love hair, right? And I love long hair, right? Now, talking about natural hair, there's this myth that African hair doesn't grow that long. But I've seen a lot of people, a lot of naturalistas these days, with really, really beautiful, strong, healthy long hair. How do they do that?
This is okay. Nobody who's been to our events will say that. That's one thing I would say for sure, because we do runway shows. We do a lot of showcase when it comes to natural hair. We do like DIYs on the stage, how not to. So that is absolutely not true. Natural hair grows, and it grows very, very well. Now, there's some people who don't even want that length because they feel, oh, it's going to be so hard to manage. I know someone who cuts her hair every time it grows. Like, she cuts it to a certain length where she feels, oh, this is manageable for me. Others want it very long. Maybe they also want to become natural hair bloggers and all of that. People have different, reasons for but it does grow. You won't tell me that it doesn't. If you have the right products, if you're consistent, a lot of people are not consistent. Some people will say, I'm going to start this, I'm going to do this. They will go to the market, they will buy, products, and they use it for just 2 weeks, and there are other issues in their lives would have taken over.
What about Haitians, because I've come to realize that, black hair doesn't grow as fast as white hair.
It doesn't grow as fast. Like, everybody's journey is different. I'm always careful what I say because I've seen people who 1 year later, I'm like, wow, all this hair, I've seen people 3 years later, it's still coming up. So, but what we usually encourage is that you don't have to focus on the length of your hair. Focus on the health of your hair, which is more important than anything. Because some people almost get depressed when they feel their hair is not growing, and they look at people online. Social media these days doesn't help. Oh my God, when, and all that. And they just feel like there's something wrong with them. We'll let you know, look, not everybody's going to have long hair. Just get that straight. My hair, I've natural for over 6 years now, and I'm not really crazy about the length. As long as I can pack it, I'm good. This is my hairstyle 24/7. So don't be crazy about the length of your hair, because it could also lead to psychological problems. You could also begin to have mood swings for no reason, and this can affect your daily life, can affect the people around you, can affect your productivity. So embrace your healthy hair journey first. If hair growth comes, good for you, but be consistent, be patient. Okay, if you want to see changes, be patient, like you said. What worked for someone in 1 year might work for you in 3 years. But the most important thing is that it happened in the end, right? So be patient and just embrace the journey.
So now, are there different kind hair products for men and women, or can everybody use the same thing?
Yes, there's no gender on products.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, what they would call beard oil might be used as a hair growth oil for ladies. It's almost the same ingredients, if not the same. It's just maybe they're just being more deliberate and looking at this for the male gender and all of that. But like even for the International Women's Day, I have to mention this. We usually do like trainings and workshops every year during the International Women's Day, and this is to help people through their hair journey, people who are struggling with hair care and all of that. So we do that. Even this year, we're doing this in partnership with different salons across the country. So, but I can't, begin to list the names and all of that. But for people who are struggling out there and are really interested in something like it's free, it's not being paid for, they can just. We have information on our page on Instagram, African Hair Summit, our website, and all of that. So, please, just by all means, we're available to help. We're available to, provide solutions. This is an NGO, so we're more, open arms than people who are selling and buying. So yes, we're definitely happy to help people, and we're looking for people to come more to learn.
Okay, now what natural products would you advise, naturalists to actually use that's not picky?
First of all, you need to have, like I said, water.
Okay.
That should be your number one hair product. It's free. Just go to the tap, put it on, turn it, and water will just appear. Get water, and then you can have a good leave-in conditioner.
What about oils?
People react to oils differently, and that's why I'm very careful. But yes, you can use castor oil. Castor oil can be, a bit thick, so sometimes people use it as a hot oil treatment. But I see more people do coconut oil mixed in water. Now people go to fenugreek and some other ones. But I would say what works for you might not work for me.
What about shea butter?
Shea butter is really good. It's a good moisturizer, but some people react to it. Yes, that's what I'm trying to explain. Coconut oil gives some people acne. They use it on their hair, and then you see they have acne on their forehead every time. They don't know, why am I having acne? I take care of my skin and all, but the oil tends to get to your face sometimes, and you can react in a certain way. So these products are really good. All these products are good, but like I said, try it out, know what works for you, and stick to it. People they don't understand what it means. Once they see a new brand, a new range of something, they just want to go and try it. Oh, let me try this. I saw this video. Oh, let me try it. This lady's hair looks really nice. And then you go and spend so much money and get discouraged. So when you find what works, stick to it.
Okay, let's talk about children with natural hair. Can they use same products that adults actually use?
Yeah, absolutely. Even if a lot of these brands have a range for children, yes, they can. It's the same thing. The same thing.
So we all know how you feel about natural hair. So, but what's your stand on weaves and wigs?
Protective styling. I don't condemn it at all. Some people may not have time to make their hair and they want to wear a wig. Why not? But I'm all for, embracing your natural hair 90% of the time, and then you can have hair extensions maybe 10% of the time. That's just me. Some people, I think where the problem comes for a lot of men who complain is that, their wives, tend to want to buy all this foreign hair, spending so much money, 90% or 99% of the time. And that 1% maybe is when they're not going anywhere that you tend to see their real hair. And the thing is that anything that is done in excess, has side effects, right? So if you end up, putting a lot of wigs and all, it could affect your edges. Your hair can start receding. And you've been wondering, oh, I don't know what's happening to my hair. You're putting so much pressure on your edges every day. It's a lot. Some people use hair glues. Come on, I don't want to go into details. What we do to our hair, and then we wake up and wonder why it left. The hair is not that patient. It's very fragile. So if you put it under a lot of pressure, even you as a human being, if somebody stretches it too much, you'll be like, I beg. You cut it off, right? The same thing. you know,
Okay,
your hair
now-
has feelings.
Yeah, I get that. I
What's
get
your
that.
take on dreadlocks? Because I understand, you know, Ibrahim wants to, you know,
Yes, I'm thinking about dreading this
test
up.
that
So
option.
so
He wants to lock his hair.
I don't. If I look at Ibrahim, I don't know what to say because it's so skin, and I can't even imagine it. But I mean, dreadlocks is cool. There's some people. If you're going to dread your hair, please take care of it. You know, some
Very
people do the
important.
dreads and they just don't take care of it, and it just looks very unkept, and it doesn't look good overall for your brand image as a person. You know, so if you're going to do dreads, understand that it's not like I'm just going to lock my hair and I'm going to rest. No. It requires a lot of care.
Does
You
it?
have to keep
It does.
relocking, of course. Not like, you know,
changing
maybe
my
every
mind.
three months you
I'm
can
changing my
relock the
mind
hair.
now.
No, but I feel like, you know, you probably will have time because you're on TV. So
Okay.
you will know that you will have to take care of it or they won't let you into the door.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that.
So yes, yeah, dreadlocks. I mean, locking your hair. Now we have a lot of, you know, we have sister locks. We have different types of, you know, locks these days. People even do the fox one. You know, the hair extensions. It's beautiful. It's part of our culture as Africans.
Yeah.
So if not, I mean, why not? If not,
So what about heat on natural hair? Because there are a lot of products actually coming out saying heated combs for natural hair. If you want to stretch
Yeah.
your hair and make it longer and everything, you can use
Yeah.
that. So
that is a very interesting one because a lot of people are suffering from heat damage right now. And you know, the very sad thing about heat damage is that once you've grown your hair to a certain length and you begin to use excessive heat on your hair, after a while, your hair doesn't just curl back. Some parts of it is straight, some part is coiled, some part is, you know, so it becomes, you just have to chop it off to start the process again. So a lot of people are now suffering from that because maybe there was a time a certain hairstyle was trending and everybody wanted to do that. Or like you said, let's get the hot combs, let's get the blow dryers. And even blow dryers can be very damaging because a lot of salons don't know how to take care of natural hair. It's funny, but they don't. So they feel like, this hair looks tough, so let's just use the highest heat, you know, and just deal with it. Let's, it's like a battle with this hair. This hair is fragile. In fact, African hair has more curl patterns than, other, So you can imagine that it's more sensitive. Combing it out, you have to be very careful with detangling, ensuring that you're not breaking the hair because anything excessive will break it because of the coils. So it's very important that, salon owners begin to train their staff more on natural hair care. There's a lady who just told me that her daughter's hair was completely damaged from just blow drying it every time. Now they don't know whether it's natural or if it's something else, and it's really messed up. So you need to know that you can do it on low heat. Low heat is good for natural hair. Just low heat. Don't put it too close to the hair. Just have mercy on your hair. I don't know how else to be. People are just people are so aggressive when it comes to natural hair. No, it needs more love. It needs more care.
And I know there's actually a pattern if you want to comb your hair. You don't, because most times we're used
Just
to
put it from
roots. Exactly. So you actually start from the tip.
The tips,
slowly.
Exactly.
Slowly.
Some people even finger detangle. It's easier.
So you can just do that and leave?
Yes, you can use your hands to detangle, which helps, which is actually sometimes more effective than using comb.
It doesn't brush out as a comb would.
Oh, you'll be surprised.
Okay.
When you have your conditioner and you use your fingers to detangle, there's less breakage because I don't know how to explain it, but it's something practical. Yeah. So if you want to use your comb, obviously you get the white tinted comb because some people use hairbrush for wigs and they use on their natural hair. There's a lot to just know that, look, this hair is different from the white people's hair, you know, there's a joke online where they say, you know, you are not white. So mind what you're using to comb your hair. Your hair is not just going to glide. It's not going to glide through. You have to be very deliberate about what you're putting on your hair. So yes, finger detangling, white-tooted combs, you know, be very deliberate about that. And also be careful about the stylist you go to. If you keep going to a certain place and you notice that your hair is breaking, you notice that, you know, this person, you know, your hair is not improving, you might want to, you know, change from that.
So what's the relationship between genetics and a person's type of hair? Because I'm asking this right now because there's somebody I know who started growing bald in his 30s, and I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? And he was like, no, it's just temporary because my dad has a full head of hair, and I'm definitely sure this is just temporary and it's going to grow back, but it never did. So
I like his level of faith.
Yeah. So what's like the relationship between that?
Well, some people are, you know, like I said, genes play a lot. There's some people that they're just born with hair. You don't try it. Don't even look there because you probably die of stroke. You know, some people, there's just no hair in their family. From even when their baby pictures, 2 strands. You see the pictures, just 3 strands of hair, and it never just came out. So these things are really psychological. You know, for me, it affects people's well-being when they dwell on it too much. If you're going bald and I mean, now people do hair transplants, you know, which I don't know.
How safe is that?
I really don't know, but I think, well, it depends on the person who's doing it. I think it depends on the you know.
But
surgeon.
I actually know of a person who did a hair transplant, and now he's bald again.
So, like I
Yes.
said,
So what was the point?
like I
So
said,
that's
it depends on.
That's the question.
There's some people who go to the dentist and, you know, what was supposed to last for a few years just falls out in a week. So again, it depends on who's doing this, I think. You know, you have to be not everybody that says shop is open is where you enter. You need to do your research, know that this person has, you know, is an expert, has specialized in this for a while. Don't just put something that is that intense in a, you know, in an amateur's hand. That's going to be very detrimental. So yes.
Okay, now how important, because you know you go to stylists and they tell you trim your hair. When you trim your hair, it grows longer. How important is trimming?
Trimming is really good because when your hair grows out, you can have, you know, it can become uneven. The tips can become, you know, uneven, like I said, and weak. And those weak ends can, you know, tangle easily. And that's what leads to breakage. When you're combing it, you hear that sound. It's those things at the end of the
shaft.
Exactly. So when you trim it, you find that your hair comes out a lot more.
Okay.
You're able to retain length. Okay. And it's just very good for the overall health of your hair. So yes, trimming is good.
All right, so
once in a while.
All right, I need to ask this. I asked this off camera, but I'm going to ask this now. Gray. Okay. What causes it?
Okay, like I said, off camera. It could be stress. It could be like we talked about, genes. It could be hereditary, and yeah, it could just be what you're eating, what you're putting in your mouth.
Okay.
So.
And then you said something very interesting about that it could be reversed.
Yes.
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 So
we have some
now
people
I'm trying to give a lot of people out there hope.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people out there are grey and they have not embraced it like I have embraced mine.
You're the only grey person I know.
That you know. Yeah,
oh my
that
God.
You know. But there are lots of grey people out there.
What I want to say, first of all, with grey hair, is that it is beautiful. Like, I've seen people with very beautiful grey hair.
Like mine.
Yes.
I don't want you making his head, you know.
It looks good on him, though.
Exactly.
It looks good on him.
She said it.
Seriously, it gives him that, you know, big boy vibes.
Exactly.
And, you know, still very professional.
So
you know,
I can chill with the big boys.
You can chill with the big boys. You know, so I usually say just embrace it first. It's not a disease, you know.
Because I've seen people who actually like pull
it
out. Yes,
people,
exactly.
But pulling it out, doesn't it make more come out?
Well, that's
Another myth.
Yes. But I've seen like a lot of, you know, people talk about it, specialists who say that's not true. what you're doing is that you're damaging your hair follicles, and hair may not grow back there. So if you keep doing that, you may be causing more problems for yourself than solving
All right,
it.
so if you pull it out, there's a possibility that it might not grow back.
Absolutely.
Okay, so could that be a tactic that bearded ladies could actually use?
I was about to ask that as well.
Bearded
Pull it
lady.
out so it doesn't
Yes.
grow back.
Oh, okay.
Ladies who have
Absolutely, yes. You use tweezers now. The ones that now shave, that's the problem.
Okay.
Yes, because when you shave,
What about wax?
it comes back. Yes, you can wax. So waxing is I think it's a very safe. But I don't know how many people do that on the face, like the facials and all that. It's mostly the tweezers and now they shave. There's a face shaving thing that's trending where people shave all the hair on their face. It's amazing.
Really?
Yes.
And it doesn't grow back?
It does. The thing is that you have to keep shaving it, but I don't know if it grows back as fast.
Okay.
But it does eventually.
Well, usually, you just talked about it that if you trim your hair, it actually grows longer and whatnot. So isn't it the same thing with shaving?
No.
Okay.
No, shaving will, not all the hair on your face is out. Shaving wakes up everything. It's like when you shave, everything just, like even the one that was sleeping, that wasn't bothering you, everything just says hi, minding his business, You're like, you called me.
I'm here.
So what do you want?
I'm here now.
I'm here. I'm awake. And they come out very, they may not come out like the baby, the way it was before, the baby hair.
Stronger.
They come out stronger, better. It's like, so.
Okay, now I don't remember. Did you give us a list of the types of hair?
Yeah, she did say
She
4C,
There's
7A,
She didn't say
9B,
7A, 9B.
11,
Come on.
11D.
She just talked about 4C.
We have from the 3s to the 4s.
Okay.
In fact, some people will talk about their own is in 5s.
The
I don't know.
The threes are
Yeah.
what differentiates the threes from the 5s or the 4s?
No, it's just the 4s. It's 3s and it's the coil pattern. It's the coil pattern. Some of them are looser. Some of them are more tight. Yes. So the 4C is really tight coil pattern.
Hence the shrinkage, especially when you apply water.
Exactly, and that's where you need to be very careful because it can, break easily if you don't if you don't take care of it properly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ibrahim?
Did I answer your gray hair issues?
Yeah, no, yes. No, it wasn't for me. I have embraced mine.
People need to embrace it because I think it's a whole conversation entirely. Like if there was phone numbers for people to call in, you'll be amazed at how many people will call in to talk about gray hair.
Gray hair, exactly.
Because
But I have
it's
embraced
such
mine.
a big issue.
And were you sitting here when she said something about, how
I don't
the
want
gray
to
hair
hear.
looks?
I don't want to hear it anymore, Ibrahim.
I think you were sitting here when she said it.
The gray hair looks good on you. I'll say it again because the world can hear it.
Adanna, just before we wrap up, do you have any final words or advice?
Yes, I mean, we're here to help people through their hair journey. The good thing about what we do is that we don't charge. It's we work with partners, we work with sponsors. So
She had free and she was dancing.
Yes, because it helps. Nobody wants to be spending too much money in this economy for nothing. So it's a very important part of life, and we've come to understand how very important it is to a lot of people. They don't talk about it, even men. Men who want to act very strong and everything, they have hair issues. They don't just talk about it. It bothers them in their heart of hearts. Women, some of them are suffering. They've done a lot of hair practices that they're now living with very bad consequences. They don't know the way out. They don't know how to deal with these issues. Our platform is free, African Hair Summit, on social media, everywhere. We have our events. We have at least 3 events every year. We have the International Women's Day event. We have a virtual conference where you can tune in. It's for 90 minutes. And we bring in experts from all over the world. They're talking to you. They're showing you practicals. It's a very intense and very educative, session for men and women. And also we have trichologists who are going to do product recommendation. They're going to talk about your hair type, talk about your hair porosity, tell you what kind of products to look out for, what types to avoid, and all of that. So, I usually encourage people, sign up, follow us, get more information on this and sign up for it. It's free. And the festival we have in December is something that I encourage people to come to. You see practicals on stage. You see runway shows. You get inspired. Like, wow, I didn't know our African hair could look this beautiful. I didn't know we had this kind of hairstyles. So it's also to inspire us to love ourselves again, to embrace who we are, which is very important. And that's what I've been kind of talking about. Embrace your hair journey. If it's short, love it. If it's long, love it. If it's gray, embrace it. Look beautiful with it. Don't think that this is a problem. I don't know why people think gray is a problem. It's not. It's beautiful.
Just before you land,
Yes.
how about coloring your natural
Well,
hair?
if you color your hair, now there could be an issue with that because, hair dyes actually can dry out the hair. It can cause a lot of breakage and all of that. So I've seen people who totally regretted it. I put color in my hair and now my hair is damaged, totally damaged. Some people, I don't know, maybe the hair salon they go to, they're very good at advising, guiding, helping. So again, it depends on who's taking care of your hair. Some people may do it and you may not see that much damage. I think there are now some hair dyes that are also friendly with natural hair. You also need to look out for certain things. So not just anything you see in the market you buy and put on your hair, because trust me, that could be the end of your 5 years journey. You've been building and all of that. So
And then also, how often should one moisturize their hair?
every day, just like you
Every
drink
day.
water,
Oh, wow.
your hair needs to be moisturized. You have a spritz bottle, like the way my hair is. In the morning, I can just spray water in it, spray water and oil for those who have water and oil. Keep it moisturized. Don't let it dry out, even especially for your children. People just don't take care of their children's hair. It's unbelievable. I see it every day. I go to schools, I see children, and I feel sorry for them. Mothers need to do more. I know we're all busy and all of that. There's so much to do in the world. But pay attention to your child's hair health. It's very important because it also is going to impact on their self-esteem when they grow up. I've seen mothers who have been so deliberate and you can see the results compared to those who haven't been. So, yeah.
So now, final question from me, all right? I just want to give people hope out there. Now, for those who have, you talked about people using products and then find out that their hair is damaged, or the color of their hair and then find out that the hair is damaged, as in seriously damaged. But you made a comment earlier that your hair has feelings, right? If you treat it well, it stays.
Absolutely.
If you treat it well, she stays.
She stays.
If you treat her badly, she goes.
She goes.
Yeah, so if she does decide to go and you decide to cajole her back, will she return? So for those who have damaged hair, can you regrow it? Can you get it back?
Absolutely. Now there's a 50-50 chance that you can get your hair back if it's really damaged. Now I don't know what extent of damage, so I can't really generalize. Trust me, I've seen very damaged hair. And there's some you see and there's, wow, you feel hopeless.
Okay, there's no hope.
You don't want to say exactly. Just shave it and just maybe embrace a low cut, because it probably will just never grow back. I mean, they have bald spots. You know what I mean? They have bald spots on their hair. So it's like you have hair here, you don't have hair. So it's years of damage. It's come from every Christmas hair you've done, every Valentine's hair you've done. Some people do braids every 3 weeks. They don't know how to just leave their hair.
And they braid their edges as
they
well.
They braid the edge. No, you hear stylists say, if you hold them well, it go fine. You make them.
Exactly.
They will tell you the tighter, the nicer. But come on, that stylist is just getting their money. You need to advise them when they're making your hair to leave your edges out. They don't need to do that to your edges if you have to braid. And, go to people who really understand, hair damage. And because some of these people in salons are just people who just learn work. I just learn work for the shop, right? And they just do what they have learned. And sometimes they're not taught anything. They're not taught the basics. They just know the hairstyling. What brings the money. So you need to also guide people who make your hair. The other time I went to the salon to wash my hair, I had to tell them, because I wash my hair normally myself, But sometimes, you know, you just want to get it quickly. And I went there and I had to pat my hair in four, you know, and all, and they were all looking at me like some strange specimen, you know, scientific experiment was going on. And, you know, I had to, you know, braid it in four before washing it and everything. And I conditioned it before loosening it. And I, you know, did it in sections. And they were like, wow, this is very new. We didn't know that this is how to take care of natural hair. Yes, because if you put the whole hair into the, you put the shampoo in there and start washing everything, it gets tangled. It gets tangled. So you need to section it. You need to braid it in 4 and 3s, depending on how your hair is.
So it can stay, and then you stay, and then you
wash it in the, you know, wash it in there, and then when you're done.
Wait, you leave the braid on while you wash it?
Okay. Absolutely. And then you put the conditioner in before you take it out. You know, so you comb it in sections. It's easy. It's more manageable. When you're done, you don't even feel anything. The hair that comes off is not even that much compared to when you're washing the whole hair. You know the way they do it, and then when they finish, they just apply it and start combing it like it's World War, you know, something. So you need to be very. These things are very easy. Once you learn the basics, you don't even need to stress.
Okay. All right. It was an absolute pleasure speaking to you, ADANNA.
I mean, I think I enjoyed myself more. If you ask me.
Enwezor, I think we would definitely have her again.
Yes, yes, most definitely.
Yes,
most definitely.
I would definitely love to come back.
We
and
will
maybe
have another one.
Yeah.
All right, so she's the executive director and founder of Fortizo Life Foundation, which is a non-governmental organization. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much for having me.